Minglawa, welcome to MITV special program Perspectives. For this week, we have invited the special guest of speaker, Sia Ue Chen, who is the Counselor of Myanmar Press Council and the Chairman of E-Commerce Association of Myanmar and the Vice Chairman of Myanmar Digital Economy Association of UMFCCI. Ue Chen has also worked in the United Kingdom and Singapore as a professional in banking and financial sector for more than 15 years. Minglawa Sia.
Minglawa.
Thank you very much for joining us in this program. So for this week, we are going to discuss about the topic avoiding the Ponzi schemes and other dangerous activities. So please explain us, what do you mean by Ponzi schemes?
Well, Ponzi schemes, we call it, it started by Charles Ponzi around the 1930s, where he defrauded a lot of people in America. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so nowadays we call it, in the rest of the world, we call it pyramid schemes. It's quite similar to MLM. Yeah, so where the pyramid schemes and the Ponzi schemes, they don't really sell anything, right? They just ask you to recruit some more people and put in investment so that the previous people got paid by the money for people that put in by the later group of people. And so eventually the scheme will collapse because there is not enough people supporting the previous investors. Yeah, so that is essentially the Ponzi scheme. So the objective, you recruit people, you pay off for the previous people, the first batch of people come from the subsequent batch of people. Yeah, plus, the Ponzi schemes, they always advertise for the unachievable rate of returns. Let's say every month I'm going to give you back 10% or every month 5%. This type of returns are really unachievable.
So what typical frauds are prevalent in Myanmar recently?
Oh, a lot of frauds, these days you heard about it on the Facebook. Myanmar, they lose in millions of dollars. One recent one is the one investment company they're trying to run from Singapore, the Burmese people, right? And they ask people to invest in the context of reinvesting their money. And they promise to pay like 5% on all these things. Yeah, obviously, that every monthly, if you pay somebody 5% return every month, the whole year you're talking about total return of at least 5 times 12 months, 60%. Impossible to achieve. Right, the whole economy, if you think of an economy, very good economy, they even grow less than 10%. Right, so which means if a company grow like 60% every year, it's totally impossible. Right, it's not logical. Eventually the company will be bigger than the economy. No way. Yeah, so that is the scheme that they run. But Myanmar people, being gullible and being trusty, they invested and eventually they lost about $4 million. That is on the Facebook. And the other one is after that, there comes a company with the name of Yangon Times Investment or whatever. So they also collected investor money, and they sort of in the context of reinvesting and all these things, and eventually they fail also because they are actually running Ponzi schemes, right? They are not actually investing, because if you are really investing, they cannot give you that type of 5% a month return. No way. Even to give the 3% a month return is extremely difficult, because in order to give you 3% return, I must earn every year like 40%. No way. Yeah, because I have my own expenses also, right? So that's why right now, the things about online lotteries, online collecting investment, right? Online, they say they invest on your behalf for gold and other stock markets. Yeah, they buy a lotteries, and plus they will also there's also people collecting for the gold savings, right? People collecting money, they will keep the gold for you. Yeah, these are all you got to watch out for, because at the end of the day, the rule of the central bank is that you need to have a deposit taking license before you can take the deposits for general public. You cannot just collect deposit and investments. There is no such thing. It's illegal. Yeah, so you got to watch out before you go and put your money and believe in your friends and trying to do the investment. Eventually, you will lose money. Yeah, because they are just running the fraudulent pyramid and Ponzi schemes.
So that's very knowledgeable for making investment. So why are such frauds so prevalent in Myanmar?
Well, the first one is gullible population. Myanmar population is very trusting, right? If you say that, oh, it must be true, and you're making you. If you say you're my friend and you say you're making this investment, ABC is making loads of money every month, giving me 5%. So I also become want to do that. It's a principle of social proof. If everybody is doing that, then it must be right. It's not true, but it's not. Yeah, so Myanmar people are easily trusting, easily gullible, believable. They can be cheated, so they fall for that. Yeah, that's the first thing. Yeah, why the frauds are prevalent. The next one is education, because when you are not well read, or if you are not that knowledgeable, you tend to fall for that because you do not read from other sources. That you do not have the understanding that to give every month 3 to 5% or even worse 10% is totally impossible in reality. It's impossible. No business earn that type of money, right? If I'm running a business, I don't earn that. How am I supposed to pay you even? So that's the issue. So you need to educate yourself in terms of investment. And the other one, sometimes people fall for the fake charity and fake donation, and sometimes terrorism donation, all these things. Myanmar people generally in the world ranking, we are top 3 in terms of being generous. Yeah, dana. In Pali, in Buddhism, dana. So you need to do dana in your life. So you always try to donate this, donate that, and eventually a lot of your donations going to unworthy causes. So that's the issue also, the donation orientation. So all these things combined together, that becomes frauds become prevalent in Myanmar. And plus Facebook, Myanmar people read a lot of Facebook. Well, obviously the readership is going down. Previously was like 28 million. I think this year it's only about 18 or 16 million left Facebook users. So so the number of users going down yet, but still a lot of people are reading that. So people, based on the crowd, they tend to they invest in social proof. A lot of people are doing that, so it must be right. So you also do that. Eventually, you suffer losses significantly.
So to prevent this kind of fraudulence, what about the law enforcement?
Yeah, law enforcement in Myanmar, first of all the law enforcement in developing countries is quite difficult. Myanmar, one of the key thing in Myanmar is very big. So if you commit a crime and you run away to far away, somewhere far away in Shan State or Kachin State, it's very difficult for the law enforcement to catch you. People, who have, I have personal experience, people who defrauded me, they run away to Thailand and they just run away outside of their registered address. So then you still cannot be able to find them. We are still unable to find them. So Myanmar is very big. So that's the issue with the the first issue with the law enforcement. The second one is severity of punishment. Sometimes you cheat at people, you go for jail for maybe a couple of years, or then after that they release you. So if the punishment is small, people will commit that crime again, right? Because if you look at in Singapore or whatever, right, the punishment is severe. Right, so when punishment is severe, even if I write something bad about you on the social media, something that is not true, then I'll be fined like $100,000. So that next time I will not dare to do it. Right, if you just fine like a couple of thousands or 1 lakh, people will still do it. Right, so tell all the wrong things about you. Try to do the social punishment or try to slander you or whatever on the social media, because the punishment is so little. Punishment have to be more severe so that people dare not do this again. That's number 2. With the law. Number 3 is, even if people are punished, there is no much publicity. If there is no publicity, people will not know that they're getting punished. Right? Because in China last time, right, if the criminals are getting shot, they show it on live national TV. Right? So that shows that they are serious. If you're a criminal, you also get shot that way. So if there is no publicity, people don't know. People don't know me, they don't know that you'll be punished. So they will continue to commit the crimes. So that is the same with all the fraudulent cases, right? They run from sometimes they run from overseas, sometimes they run away after getting all the money. Then law enforcement did not catch them, or even if they catch, the punishment is too little. So then people, the whole cycle repeats itself. People will keep on committing these fraudulent activities because because of these three factors of law enforcement. Lack of reach, cannot catch them. The next one is lack of severity of punishment. The last one, no publicity of the punishment.
So how do you avoid getting conned?
Okay, the first thing is, you're greed. Yeah, don't be so super greedy, right? Whatever, that you may be making lots of money, it doesn't mean that I have to make the same way as you. Your life and my life are different, right? So you got to realize that you make so much money, I also must make. So you don't have to have that crowd mentality and it's what you do, I don't have to follow. I have my own way. I have my own way of getting wealthy, and you have your own way. Yeah, the Ponzi scheme, maybe you are the early comer. That's why it may work for you, but I'm the late comer. I may end up losing all the money. So you got to avoid that greed. The second one, you got to read around. You got to read more. You got to read more books. You got to read more about finance and all these things to know that certain type of things are impossible. Right? To every month to give you 5% return is impossible. You're not going to get that in real life. Yeah, and plus you got to ask around from past experience. You got to ask around the people who are knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than you. And then first of all, you got to realize that if the thing is too good to be true, it probably is not. Yeah, sometimes people call you, oh, you win lottery, right? Please put in money to collect that lottery. That's probably it's not going to be true, right? Because in your life you never won lottery. How do we suddenly you win so money and somebody call you up, right? Lucky draws and all these other same things. So you got to know that. And the other one is also you have to know your risk appetite. Risk appetite, how much risk you can take with your money, right? If you are old, if you are going to retire, you have accumulated saving, you should not put all the money into that, investment that you don't know at all, right? So you should not do that. Yeah, so that you got to watch out for that. If you do that, you cannot risk losing that money, and you end up losing. You become poor the whole life. 40 years you work for it because of one wrong decision. You become poor, it's not worth it. So you need to know your risk appetite, how much risk you can take. There are the other ways that you're going to watch out for it. If people are collecting money from you for investment of that kind, you need to ask from them deposit taking license. It's not the company registration from DICA or whatever. Huh? It's not the company registration certificate or company annual return. It's not that. Deposit taking license that your central bank has given it to you, where is it? Right? If not, you cannot take the money out of the people on the street. Simple. And plus, the last but not least is, if the company that you are dealing with is especially foreigners, or they are situated overseas, outside of Myanmar, you got to be extra careful because you cannot go to their office and challenge them to get their money. You cannot sue them also. Right? If there's a foreigners running the office here for that investment also, they'll run away, says they simply pack and they'll leave Myanmar with an airplane. How do you catch them? Yeah, even within Myanmar, it's quite difficult to catch people. If they escape to other countries, it's more difficult to catch them. So for the people who are investing or parting with your own hard-earned money, you got to avoid, all these investment companies that run by foreigners or the outside of the Myanmar itself.
So there are so many risks and challenges to make an investment for the common people. So how and where do invest?
Okay. The first thing is you need to know before you invest. You need to know your risk appetite. How much risk you can take. Because you have to realize that everything in life, from the finance perspective, is low risk, low return. If you want low risk, if you don't want to lose your money, you're only going to get lower returns. Like if you put the money in your bank, right? When in the bank, you fix deposit or whatever, you'll get like 8% per annum. Yeah, so that is the low risk, low return approach, right? If you want to invest in businesses or if you want to run your own business at high risk, that means you will get a higher return than that 8% you should get, right? All these Ponzi schemes, all these, is super high. They promise you super high returns. But you should know that when somebody promises you super high returns, it also comes with super high risk. What is the risk? The risk of losing your money. And you can lose all of your money. Yeah, so that's what you have to realize. So that's what we call in finance, corporate finance, risk-return trade-off. Risk and return is always proportional. Higher return, you will have higher risk. Yeah, but so after you understand that, in Myanmar, if you want to save, if you want to take a bit of risk, you can invest in properties, right? Properties give you capital appreciation, the price increase. Plus, you can also have rental income, right? You can rent out your apartment or condo or property itself. Then you can. So that's a good investment. Yeah, and plus you can invest in the Yangon Stock Exchange also. You have shares in the Yangon Stock Exchange where your share price can also go up, as well as you can also get the dividends, right? So if there's a little bit higher risk stuff. So if you want a lower risk, you can go for the bank deposits. Bank deposits, your capital. Let's say you put 10 lakhs in the bank, it's still 10 lakhs then 1 year later, right? You just get a little bit interest. For properties and for the stock market, you get capital increase, price increase, as well as the income. You get two types of that. Yeah, at the same time, the other ones is, you can think of the precious metals or precious stones. But these things, you have to realize that, precious metals, I mean gold and all the jewelry stuff. Yeah, that one doesn't give you income, right? They are just, they are just store of value. It's just like foreign currency like that. They don't give you income. You're just holding that, hoping that the price will go up, hoping that the next guy will buy it higher than what you have bought, what you have paid for. Yeah, so that's the options.
So how can we analyze an opportunity to know if it is a fraud?
Okay, the first thing is you need to think of the payoff. How much are they promising, right? If they are promising to pay you more than 3% every month, it's definitely a fraud. Yeah, because nobody can pay you more than 3% every month for your money. Why? Because if you pay every month 3%, the whole year is 36%. If he were to pay you, let's say I take your money, I want to pay you 36% every year, which means I myself, my own company has to make a lot more than 36% every year, right? Because I have expenses, I have staff, I have rental, I have electricity, I have phone bill, I have generator, all these costs I have to bear. So if I have to give you 36%, I got to create the returns every year like 50%. Impossible. Yeah. Impossible. No companies in the world can get a return of 50% every year consistently, right? So which means it's definitely a fraud. And no way that he can continue to pay. Yeah, so that is one big factor. And the second factor, you can find out is a license. If your people are starting collecting the money from you through the Facebook, very simple question: where's your deposit taking license? I'm 100% sure they don't have it, which means they are doing something illegal. So if they're doing something illegal, why would you want to put the money in a business that's doing something illegal, right? So that's something that you can realize that it's going to be a fraud. The next one is a location. Yeah, you need to know if you're going to put in the money. For example, if you're going to put in a KBZ or CB, do you know their offices? Do you know their location? Yes, we know their branches. So that's another red flag where, if you're putting in the money, you need to know where they are. If they are outside of the country, it's a no-no. Yeah, because you cannot sue them. You're going to go and challenge them. You cannot, even they get done on the phone, how do you call them? Yeah, if they don't pick up the phone, how do you call them? Right? Or if the premises at the investment entities are run by foreigners or whatever, they're running an illegal business. Yeah, so they'll run away out of Myanmar at the hint of some problem. Once the problem comes, they run away. How do you catch them? Yeah, so that is that's the thing. So you need to. So these are essentially three things: how much promise that how much returns, expected returns that they are promising, and plus their location, plus their licenses. If you check out all these things, you will realize very easily which one is a fraud and which is not.
So there are so many things to consider as making an investment. And I think the most important thing is we should not be greedy in making investment. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge, and thanks again for your presence in this special program.
Thank you.
You have been watching MITV special program Perspectives. Thanks for joining us.